Good morning. This is Mitri Narasi from the Department of English, and I am here to discuss the chapter Purpose Expressions. Let's define the term purpose expressions. Purpose expressions are basically connectives that are used to indicate purpose of action. In English, we normally use certain connectives for indicating purpose of action. Such connectives are otherwise known as purpose expressions. All these purpose expressions look like prepositions, but even though they belong to the family of prepositions, we are going to use them for indicating purpose. In that case, we can even call them as purpose expressions or connectives. Here are the examples of purpose expressions. Connectives such as purpose of, aim of, to, for, used for, so as to, in order to, with a view to, so that, and in order that. All these purpose expressions are frequently used expressions for indicating purpose of action. Here comes the examples along with the grammatical expressions. While using all these purpose expressions, we need to follow certain points. Let's start from the first one. The first expression is purpose of. While using this expression purpose of, it has to be preceded by the article and followed by to infinitive form of a verb. What is infinitive? Infinitive is one of the forms of a verb. A verb may have 5 common forms: present form, past participle, present participle, and infinitive. Infinitive has 2 different categories. One is infinitive with to, the other one is infinitive without to. Infinitive with to is equal to to plus main verb. Infinitive without to is just a main verb without to. So here, while using purpose of connective, this connective has to grammatically agree to infinitive form of a verb. Understood? Let's see the example now. The purpose of a bypass road is to reduce traffic congestion in cities. Do you know one thing? Any purpose statement answers the question for why. See, what may be the question from this statement? Why do we use a bypass road? Why? This why is answering the question. So the purpose of a bypass road is to reduce traffic congestion in cities. To reduce traffic congestion in cities is indicating purpose of the action. So here purpose of phrase is to be followed by to infinitive form of a verb. Let's move on to the second connective, that is aim of. Even aim of connective has to be followed by the same to infinitive form of a verb. Look at the sample now. The aim of a litmus paper is to identify acids and alkalis. The question here is, why do we use a litmus paper? To identify acids and alkalis. Why it is to identify? All because of aim of connective in the very beginning. Here comes to. While using to as a purpose connective, this to has to grammatically agree bare infinitive form of a verb. What is the structure of bare infinitive form of a verb? Just a main verb without to. So look at the sample. The object we have considered in the example is capacitor. Why do we use a capacitor? To oppose the change in voltage. So let's bring it in the form of a statement now. We use a capacitor to oppose the change in voltage. Here comes for. For has to be followed by gerund. Everybody knows what is gerund. Gerund is otherwise known as a verbal noun. Why do we call it as a verbal noun? All because of the structure it has. What is the structure of gerund? Verb plus ing. It looks like a verb. At the same time, it functions as a noun. So one can even call gerund as a verbal noun. So why do we call a gerund as a vowel noun? Because it looks like a verb, at the same time it functions only as a noun. So this for has to be grammatically followed by gerund or ing form of a verb. Here is the sample. Sort your rubbish. Why? For cycling. So for is functioning as the purpose expression. This is grammatically followed by ing form of a verb. This ing form of the verb here is gerund. Next is used to. This used to has to be followed by bad infinitive form of a verb. Look at the sample. A barometer is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Used to is functioning as the connective. This is followed by bad infinitive form of the verb. Next is used for. The used for should be followed by gerund or ing form of a verb. The example is a ball mill is used for grinding medium-sized particles into finer ones. Used for is functioning as the connective. This is followed by gerund or ing form of a verb. Next is with a view to. So while using this connective with a view to, we have to be at most careful, which means with a view to should not be followed by bad infinitive form of the verb. Instead, it has to be followed only gerund or ing form of the verb. Students normally commit a mistake by using two different expressions. One is with a view to, the other one is forward to. Both expressions should be followed only by gerund or ing form of the verb. Look at the sample now. We use a thermometer. Why? With a view to measuring the body temperature. With a view to is functioning as a connective. This is followed by gerund or ing form of a verb. Here is the next connective. It's so as to. So as to has to be followed by bad infinitive form of a verb. I will go to university so as to continue my studies. So as to is a connective. This is followed by bad infinitive form of a verb. Now we can discuss the next connective, that is in order to. In order to should be grammatically followed by bad infinitive form of a verb. See this example now. We use a litmus paper in order to identify acids and alkalis. In order to is a connecting phrase. This is followed by identify. This is just bad infinitive form of a verb. Here comes so that. So that should be grammatically followed by subject along with the modal verb. Look at the sample. He exercises regularly. Why does he exercise regularly? So that is the purpose expression. He will not get OBC. So he is the subject. This is followed by modal verb. You know what is a modal verb? Modal verb is an auxiliary that is used to indicate different moods of action. So here in this statement, since we are using so that connective, this connective has to be followed by modal verb. Next is in order that. This connective should also be followed by subject along with the modal verb itself. Look at this example now. He joined a language center. Why did he join the language center? In order that he could learn English. See, he is the subject. This is followed by modal verb. This modal verb is nothing but the past form of a modal. The entire statement is indicating past action. That is why we are using here past modal. He could learn English. Hope you would all understand the entire content of the video. Thank you. I meet you in my next video. Thank you.